We are back, eh? So, all of a sudden, tuna Marimo. Oi, oi, Marimo. Oi, oi, Marimo. Tunatendereza sijui nini. Oi, oi, Marimo. There's a Kenyan song that was talking of Marimo. Marimo, Marimo. Oi, oi, Marimo. Oi, oi, Marimo. Sijui kama ilikuwa nameless. There was Marimo in Kenya. Now we have some tall things in Kenya walking. Tuko na tall burgers. Very tall burgers. They are walking in Nairobi. Niliona Terence. I told you Terence is a government project. Unajua nyinyi hamuniamiangi. We have distractions everywhere. Sasa we have giants to distract you for Morara and the 70 children missing. Terence again ako hapo. I told you hakuna kitu mbaya kama a man who is immature. A man who will do anything for likes or for social media, or a man who lacks parental love, a man who thrives on attention. So Terence ndiye anatuonyesha Marimo. Nasikia watu wakiongea about the Nephilim. So now tuko na Marimo Nairobi. So from the book of how to distract Kenyans, we have the Kiengeis, kwa sababu Karen Nyambo na Sambido wamechoka. We have to distract people from Morara. So we have again another government agent anajiita Terence, wanatuonyesha Marimo Nairobi. So all of a sudden tall men is an issue. As if we didn't have Sudanese, now we have tall people in Nairobi. And I'm asking you, mtoto by the time I grow this tall, mbona mko mnamuona Kenya? So where did he come from? Where are these people coming from? Where are all these tall motherfuckers coming from? All of a sudden we have tall people. Juu tungekuwa tunamuona kwa matatu ya Kawangware ama wherever alikulia, tungekuwa tunajua jamaa mrefu. So how comes all of a sudden, na msiniambie hiyo story mnakuja kutuambia hapa ati this is the mother na huku ndio alitoka. That's a distraction. Now forget about that. What you need to learn is to process your emotions, and why your health depends on you being able to process your emotions. I told you, this is a spiritual attack. Those stupid giants, Nakina Terence, these are distractions. This is a spiritual warfare. So, let's talk about how you can, how you can process your emotions, because your emotions are under siege. This is spiritual warfare. This is attacking your core, your emotions. So, how can you process your emotions? So ukipewa hii chai ya stupid bishop, how can you regulate your emotions? Ukiletewa Marimo na Terence ati kuna giants Nairobi, how do you regulate your emotions? Because if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, because trust me, your health depends on that. Your health depends on that. In a span of less than 1 month, tumeona Range Rover mbili, 2 Range Rovers, fatal crashes. 2 Range Rovers, fatal crashes. Again, emotional. Kenya has become a crime scene, whatever you call it, spiritual warfare. Shit is deep. Shit is deep. Now, most of us, when we were growing up, we never learned how to process our emotions. Okay? So when you start to observe the world through the news, through the phone, through the tablet, through the computers, through everything, through what you are listening to, through the chais and all that nonsense, you'll notice that most of the adults cannot cope. Okay? Most of the adults are stuck in what you call dysfunctional patterns. Amulalangi, muko TikTok, mukiona Githaiga, another government project. I said it. Githaiga is also another government project. Githaiga wa TikTok mnashinda mkiona akijifanya hapo atijui kuongea kizungu. That's another government. Suga Sambi, Githaiga, Andrew Kibe, the other boy you forgot about him. Kijana mlikuwa mnamuita nani? Bahati. But now Bahati has a role to play bigger than that. So Bahati has gone into subliminal messages. Mlikuwa na size 8. Hiyo size 8 alienda akaingia biashara sana. They couldn't use them kwa sababu ya church. They had better people to use for the church than size 8. So You have to learn how to process your emotions because of everything that is being thrown at you. You have so many things thrown at you. Your children are safe playing Roblox. Wachaneni na watoto wacheze the video games. You see, you are so easily distracted. Oh, Roblox, you know people can chat. Hakuna mtu atakaa chini akuje kuchat na mtoto wako Roblox as a predator. Why? Every video game is created based on what you call Uranus, Pluto and Neptune. You, kama wewe ni millennial, huwezi cheza Roblox. You cannot. Roblox can only be played by the Gen Z and Generation Alpha based on the graphics and how the game is created based of Neptune, Uranus and Pluto. So there's no baby boomer who can be on Roblox preying on children because the game itself is going to fuck up his mind based on where he was born, the time he was born, as an alignment, what we call as above or below. So the people saying that Roblox is bad for your children or dangerous for your children is another diversion from the actual truth on what is happening on the ground. Okay? So, as a generation, you are being taught to repress what you feel. So this is what you feel. You are feeling anger at the disappearing child, at the disappearing children, or you are feeling anger at Morara and the expose. But they teach you to repress what you feel, anger for the children, anger for Nithi Bridge, yenye president alikuwa amesema ametenga pesa. So mulisahau Nithi Bridge, mukasahau, sasa musahau watoto na musahau na Morara. So you are taught to repress what you feel, or there's a team working for the government to make you numb, to distract you. So you avoid your emotions. So how do we distract you? Give you a giant. Terence, kuja. Endo salimie giant, Kerimo. Unajua watu wanapenda stories za Marimo. Oi, oi, Marimo. There's always stories of Marimo, the giant ogre in the forest with the big eye, the Nephilims, the giants, the big people. So another distraction. Another old story in Kemet, in Egypt, updated at your own time. Ndio maana nakwambia, we are in the age of Aries. They are creating a new world the same way they did it back then with the stories of the Nephilims, the stories of the Anunnaki coming from the sky. Ndio maana wanaongea about satellites. It is the same story because it has worked before. It has to be updated in modern times. AKA, wewe ulisikia kuna watu waliona Marimo. So right now pia unajionea Marimo. This is why a lot of people are living in anxiety. This is why a lot of people are depression. A lot of people are under depression. This is why most of you are in what you call chronic pain. Because when you cannot regulate your emotions, you get what you call chronic pain. You become sick. Saizi hakuna mtu omu na mgongo. Young people wanaumwa na mgongo. Unaenda hapa Kikuyu, unakutana na kijana, unamuuliza ni mgongo, draka adokile mgongo. Yes, chronic pain based on the amount of garbage you are consuming. Your mental health system is based around repressing negative emotions. Yani every day you wake up, your health, your mental health imekuwa based around repressing negative emotions. Saa zote ni negative emotions. Pages zote ni these people died in an accident. This I don't watch the news. But that is the world you are living. 7 people die in an accident. A motorist, what? A bodaboda. Wewe si bodaboda rider. Wewe uko kwa hiyo gari. Why? But this is on design. You cannot handle all these negative emotions. Your mental health system is under siege on purpose. You are being taught to repress what you feel. You are being taught to be numb. You are going to see so many deaths, you become numb. So even when the school children die, you don't feel nothing. It's a distraction. They are making you avoid your own emotions. So instead of paying attention to the real thing, you're paying attention to giants. Who gives a shit about a giant? The only person who should be concerned ni akikufa ataekwa kwa mochari gani. That should be the only concern. Na hiyo si concern yako, hiyo ni concern ya undertaker. That's none of your business. Your emotions are what you call your internal guidance system. If you cannot regulate your emotions, you cannot regulate your internal guidance system, aka you'll be swimming in the dark. A case of the blind leading the blind. Your emotions are always looking to be understood. But can you understand your emotions? You can't. Because right now your emotions are like, sasa kiengei, sasa I kanisa, sasa I giant, sasa, and those are distractions. So your emotions are being questioned and released. Questions and released before you even internalize them. So in ancient times, which is the times we are in, because we have gone back to where we are, age of Aries, we are not in the age of Aquarius. Self-mastery was the focus. Everyone was focusing on mastering the self. Okay? So they knew, or we knew, how our internal world shaped our reality. Your reality, what you see, what you witness, is shaped by your internal. You create from within to the external. As within, so without. As above, so below, or whatever you want to call it. So now, how do you learn to process your emotions in a world where these things are not taught? Or in a world where we don't have people like me? Or in a world where people like me are shadow banned? Or people like me, the information, which is for saving people, so they don't have to commit suicide, so they become upright people in the society, that is not liked. Okay, lives like mine cannot get to 1,000 views. But kama ni nonsense, kama sasa nikianza kuongea maneno ya bishop bullshit, utaona live yangu imefikisha 500 people, wataanza kugift, wataanza kushare, watakuja hapa tukusikize chai, because that is who you have become. You don't know how to process your emotions. So your emotions are processed by other people dedicate how you react. How you react. One of the ways that you can learn, because my channel is only for the few people, I don't care about numbers. You are here to learn how to process your emotions so that you can heal your generations, or you can heal your life so that you can attract the things that you want, and you can even reincarnate into a better world, so you don't come back to this demonic world. You're going to come back to this world, but at least you are born into a family that can self-regulate. They can regulate your emotions, so you can be the outliers. You can be mtoto mwenye ataenda what you call private school, the group of schools that anapelekwa shule na chopa, anapelekwa shule na gari. Sio mtoto anaenda shule mguu anakuliwa na fisi. Okay? Where the mind goes, the body goes. Now, whenever you feel a flash of anger, okay, immediately you are uncomfortable with whatever story that you see. Instead of wishing that you felt differently, okay, breathe. Breathe. Man, I'm so angry at this government for allowing these children to die like this. But you name that emotion. So when you name an emotion, anything you give a name, you are separating as yourself from that emotion. So you give it a name. You say, right now I feel angry. Just that. Sai nasikia nimekasirika sana. So what have you done? You have named that emotion. Hiyo emotion ni makasiriko. Niko na makasiriko mingi sana. You have named the emotion. What are you doing? You are separating yourself from that emotion. So the emotion becomes makasiriko. It's no longer you. It's makasiriko. Then what do? You become curious. You become curious. Grab your phone. Juu amuandikangi vitu. Nichukua simu yako. Enda kwa notepad. Enda kwa notes. Okay? So, write down the thoughts that you had. Write down the thoughts that you had. What thoughts was I having in my mind? I was thinking about my mother or my father. So, these are the thoughts you had, okay? Or what you felt, or what you had said to yourself before you felt angry. Before you become angry from watching something, kuna kitu ulikuwa feel as a thought. And that is the most important part. of emotionally processing that thing. So what happens is that utaanza kulearn patterns. Utaanza kurealize that every time I think about my mother, I get on the news and I always see bad news. Nilikuambia you leave your patterns, but you have to look for those things. Ama utaanza kurealize everything, or every time I think about my ex, nikiingia online naonanga accident. The people wenye tulikuwa tumefanya dream journaling. You remember what we used to do? You'd go to bed, write down or plan your day for kesho. Kesho nitaamka, nitaenda to boys, kununua vitabu na vitu kama hizo. Ulikuwa unaandika before ulale. Then, ukiamka the first thing in the morning, we used to write our dreams. Umeota nini? Whatever little umeweza kumbuka, unaandika. Then, we would write how we feel and the things to do that day. Na every day without looking for a whole month. Then after a month, we went to the notes and compared. Sasa ndio nalikumbukanga, shit. Every time I dream with a cow, my day goes like this. Every time I dream like this, you start understanding that you live your patterns. Look at what you wrote down. Ask yourself, is this statement true? For example, there are so many times where you have thoughts whereby you think, unasemanga, aki mimi ni mjinga, I'm always trusting the wrong people. That is the thought. Ask yourself that. Is this 100% true? That you are stupid for trusting the wrong people? Or have you also trusted people who've been there for you? You see, one may be real, the other one may be wrong. So, unaweza kuwa unajiambia, you're always stupid for trusting the wrong people. But ukiandika pattern utarealize, you have always trusted people who have been there for you. But huku unajua hivyo. So, our thoughts and emotions are not facts. What you think is not a fact. Your emotions is not a fact. Hiyo cha una consume is not a fact. It's a pattern. It's a pattern that you are living. And you have to accept it. You have to accept it, go into a quiet place and be with your anger. Leta hiyo anger makasiriko. Kaa chini na hiyo makasiriko hapa. Uambie makasiriko, you know what? I have learned something from you. You have made me learn something. And I'm going to cry. Why am I crying? I'm going to cry so that I can shed that blood, that sweat, that tear, and that mucus. Na nionanga maana unaonanga mtu akilia anatokanga mpaka machozi. When a child is very depressed, ukichapa mtoto na kwa depressed, ama akichapa mtoto anakujanga akilia na makamasi ukaigua kila no mira kimira kiu, but you are missing the point. Tears have to go in the mucus if the child is shedding. So what is happening? The child is changing their emotions. Na the moment huyo mtoto hatalia tena, because kuna mahali atafika hata ilia tena hiyo ya machozi na makamasi, you should be very, very worried or fearful if you never played a part in the healing of that child. Because what is happening is that when we don't change our emotions, they relax and fade through the body. Hapa ni unasikianga, emotional trauma is carried through the body. Saizi unaumwa na mgongo, hiyo ni emotional trauma yenye ukilia ulikuwa unaambiwa kilia kanua kau na mamako ama babako. They didn't know how to emotionally regulate their emotions. So you are not allowed to cry. Kila kana kuhore. So you never sat with your anger. You are never allowed to cry. And right now there are people who are paying thousands of dollars to go and have trauma removed from their bodies. Most of the accidents in Yonanga Mombasa Road, ati Range Rover imekuja imegonga gari nyuma, mtu anakuanga amefreeze. They freeze. So what happens is that when the body undergoes so much trauma, it's not about the money. You freeze. Inaitangwa a state of freeze or flight. Mtu ametoka Mombasa, ameambiwa mzigo yake imekwama, imeshikwa na KRA. So the body goes into a freeze, fight or flight. Inaitangwa dorsal version. So they freeze behind the steering wheel. Na amekanyanga Range Rover yake yote. Si ati hata onangi lori, anaonanga hiyo lori but hawezi kanyanga brakes. anakuja ameingia lori nyuma na Range Rover yake, kwa sababu you have to understand how trauma works. Think of your emotions as a small child. They change very quickly. Very quickly. They're like the flame. One moment you are happy, the next you are sad. You could be happy, all of a sudden. Because you are not acknowledging them. It's safe to feel the way you feel. The Bible inasemanga, these two shall pass. A feeling or a thought. So the more you can flow through your emotional states, that is why Bruce Lee alikuwa anasema, be like water, my friends. Bruce Lee was very emotional. Bruce Lee was very deep into the occult. Be like water, my friend. Regulate your emotions. Understand that whatever you are witnessing, the children missing, the giants, all these are distractions. And you need to regulate your emotions. You need to embrace. Shout out to Brian Wheels. He's in the space. Brian Wheels, you can go and follow Brian Wheels. He's right there, Brian_Wheels. He's in charge of the spinal, all that things to do with spinal injury and everything. Namwitanga chairman. Shout out to chairman. Go and follow chairman. He's doing an amazing job. Niwaona na DJ, what is that DJ? DJ wa Big Club. DJ wa Babu Owino. What do you call that? DJ Evolve. I saw them with DJ Evolve. Okay? I saw them with DJ Evolve. Shout out to Brian Wheels. Okay? You can go and follow Brian Wheels. So, you need to regulate your emotions. Understand that they come and go. This is why they say, these two shall pass. Learn to regulate your emotions. That is the only way you can heal and you are going to succeed or survive in this world. This world is so demonic. Na hakuna mtu anakuja kusaidia. No government is coming to help you. Find your children. No church is coming to help you. Find your children. Mnasemanga you are a Christian church. You are Christian people. Where are your church leaders when your children are missing? Mbona wajaenda huko? Pastor Ezekiel angecancel crusade yake. Angesema, we are calling on all my followers to pray we find those children. Kuna nini? Hawezi cancel. Billboard zake zimejaa. Pastor Ezekiel ataenda crusade yake. Niliona anauza anointed nails. Misumari. Anauza misumari kwa kanisa. Ati ni anointed nails. Atakikuzia misumari utajenga. Africans, you are full of shit. You are full of shit. You cannot be helped. But forget about the ones who cannot be helped. Help yourself. Emotional regulation. It's Gemini hour. We are 10 degrees into Gemini hour. Inaitango a deacon. A deacon ni deacon or 10 decan. So right now I'm speaking as a deacon 10 degrees inside Gemini, which is Sodom and Gomorrah. So I can end the live. Sinisa. Let the anger come. Feel the anger. Sit with the anger. Name it. Hiyo hasira yote ni nini? Ni msoto. Kaa nayo. Hiyo hasira yote ni nini? Kusota. Wewe kusota. I'm separating myself from you. Ni sawa. Let me. Esther Mudhoni, mnaitanga ni Pasaris. Right now, as we are speaking, Pasaris, we are women leader, whatever, is right now as we are speaking. Ameanza saa 4. He's flagging off something. So I'm asking you, who is more important? Your children or whatever they are flagging off? Ask Pasaris. These are the questions you ask these people. Pasaris, where are our children? Siwe ni mama Pasaris, So, what are we doing, Pasaris? What is more important? Whatever you are flagging off, ama our children? You get it? Those are the questions you should be asking these people. Wavinyandeti, unatuambia nini? Pasaris right now as you are speaking is flagging off sanitary towels. Ziende shule. Right now as you are speaking. As you are speaking, right now in this same live, Pastor Pasaris anatuma sanitary towels Mathare. courtesy of the gender something. So unawapea tampons shule Mathare, ama tunafaa kuwa tukiuliza maswali Pastor Pasaris, where are the missing children? You don't know how to ask the right questions. You don't know how to ask the right questions. So a lot of the shit that is coming to you, unless you know how to emotionally regulate yourself, it will keep on going. They are not out of touch with the ongoings. You make them be out of touch. For example, hawa watu wanapea sanitary towels, wanafaa akienda kupeana sanitary towel wanamuuliza, Pasaris, watoto wako wapi? Mawe anaenda kusaidia kutafuta watoto. This is a spiritual page. So when I say we are casting rocks or stones at our politicians, we are not casting stones hii mawe ya kuokota chini. Understand the Bible. When you are throwing rocks or stones at someone, it means you are throwing words of ridicule. So we should be ridiculing our readers, aka throwing rocks at them and hitting them on the head with the rocks. That is the allegory of the Bible. Ni sawa? Do have a beautiful day. Each one teach one. 54 people watching, that's a beautiful number. That's a 9. So, ciao ciao.